and welcome to the Social Security Show. I'm your host, Daniel Summers, and I'm not alone. We at Social Security are here to answer frequently asked questions. I'm a public affairs specialist in the Chicagoland area, but I'm not the only one. With me is Josephine Mueller, who will introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Summer. I am so excited to be here with you all, Chicagoland. And we have great information in store for you today. As Mr. Daniel Summer stated, we are going to be talking about FAQs today, frequently asked questions. So a lot of those questions that you ask us, at the field office or when you call us at our phone number, we are going to go over some of those so that way you can be better informed. And as Mr. Daniel Summer mentioned, my name is Josephine Mueller. I am a public affairs specialist as well in the Chicagoland area. And we have a great show in store for y'all today.
Great. And the first thing we're going to do is to give us that trademark video. Everyone wants to see this because it means that the Social Security show is starting. So let's get rolling.
Let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up here. Are you able to see my screen?
I am.
Great. So I'm going to go
Looks
ahead and
good.
hit play.
We are there, day one, with baby names and a gift that lasts a lifetime. We are there as you grow, protecting you and those you love. We are there when you get your first job, helping you to save for the future. We are there when you marry your sweetheart to help secure your new life together. We are there if the unexpected happens to help you see life from a new perspective. We are there when you start your next chapter to make sure you get off to a great start. And we are there when you lose your soulmate to help make sure you will be all right. We are with you through life's journey. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Get to know us and see what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Wonderful. That video for me, Josephine, never gets old. I can see it 1,000 times, but it really embodies what Social Security means to America and Americans. So, again, the greatest part about this show is that it will answer your questions. There are some things we hear about over and over at Social Security. There are things that might not be clear, but these are the reasons why we do this show, so that we can clarify, so that you get the things that you want out of Social Security and you get the information and you get to know it. So onward. One of those questions that we hear a lot comes to us from, of course, the public. I get these Dear Mr. Social Security letters and calls. So because it's the ladies' first show, I'm going to read the first question and let Josephine, who is quite capable, answer this one for us. So, Josephine, can I refuse to give my Social Security number to a private business?
Absolutely. Our social security numbers, you know, they're our social security numbers were never intended to be used for, private businesses and things like that. Our social security number, we need to protect it, and we need to protect our social security number very much so to where we're not carrying our card around with us, and we can absolutely refuse to provide a private business with our social security numbers. I know many times people go into a doctor's office, and sometimes the doctor's offices will ask for a social security number as well. Well, we can refuse that. We don't have to put our social security number on there. And it is your right to protect your social security number. I mean, there are some cases, obviously, if you're going for employment, that you do need to provide that number. But in most cases, you do not need to provide your social security number. Do you have anything to add to that, Mr. Summer?
Sure. It is noted that even though you can refuse to give your Social Security number to a private business, they can refuse to offer you service. So you have rights, and so do they. But if you feel that your Social Security number is going to a private business that might not be so secure, you might be better off finding another vendor for that particular business transaction.
Absolutely. But that is a question that we do receive a lot of. So it's good that we are going over that.
Interesting
But
question, though.
definitely. But now I have a question for you, Mr. Summers, that gets asked a lot. And we get a lot of individuals that come into our office and they're like, you know what, I'm so stressed out. I need a social security card because I lost my wallet. I got a paper application and followed the instructions. I filled out the application perfectly and sent it in with a clear photocopy of my driver's license through the mail. I waited and waited, but got no card. The application came back saying, we could not process this because you did not provide us with proper ID. But I did. I gave them a copy of my license. I gave them a copy of my documents. Why am I not receiving my Social Security replacement card?
Yeah, Josephine, if there is a frequently asked question, this is it. This has got to be among the top of the charts. And in our pandemic environment, people are doing a lot more things through the mail. Now, I like when people do their Social Security cards via the internet and they do it online. That's a fast, secure, and safe process. But I know the answer to this question, and it's pretty straightforward. Now, first, this writer, you know why? They have their Social Security card in their wallet. Ah, that's definitely a no-no, right? It leads to identity theft and fraud. But nevertheless, that's water under the bridge. But they got the paper application and they followed the instructions on it and then sent it with a clear photocopy of their driver's license. Josie, therein lies the problem. They sent a photocopy driver's license, not their actual driver's license. The Social Security Administration, whether you're in person or via mail, always, always, always has to see the actual original document. I know lots of people will say, wait a minute, telling me I have to put my the plastic copy driver's license in the mail and then send to you? And many people are hesitant to do that, which is why the online process is favored. But yes, whether you're in person in the office, we've got to see the actual driver's license or ID. Or if you're dropping in the mail, that's what you have to send us because we can only check for integrity to see if it's real. People do all kind of alterations and things with photocopies and so on. We need to see the real bona fide document. And that is why the application came back saying you did not provide us with a proper ID. You actually did provide us with a copy of the proper ID, but that just isn't quite good enough. Make sense?
That's a
All right.
great
So,
explanation.
you, Josephine?
I think that was a great
Because if not,
explanation.
I've got a question again for you because this is a hot topic and I like to pretend that I'm the public sometimes. I enjoy this stuff. So here I am doing my best impersonation of you out there who are watching us. I got a call from someone saying that they were from Social Security. It was a recording and it sounded like a computer. They told me that I'm being accused of serious crimes. I was scared and didn't call them back. The next day, I got a phone call, live person, who said they were from Social Security. Again, they told me that they were trying to increase my benefits, but they needed some information. They asked me my name and Social Security number. Josephine, is this a scam?
Oh, yes, this is a scam. And there are several scams going on right now where there are individuals that are impersonating Social Security representatives. They're calling the public, they're calling you, telling you that they are, Social Security representatives and they're threatening, they're aggressive, or they might start off nice telling you that they're working to try to get your benefit increased, but then they turn into where they start to threaten you and be aggressive with you. And what we're telling the public is to just hang up. If you receive a call like this, just hang up. We would never call you and promise an increase of benefits in trading off, for monetary things. They might ask you for credit cards. They might ask you for bank information. We're not going to call you and ask you for those kind of things. And we're not going to threaten you, and we're not going to be aggressive. We're not going to say that your social security number is going to get suspended. That just doesn't happen. We don't do that. And we're not going to tell you we're going to come to your door and we're going to arrest you, because once again, we don't do that. We're not out there going to your doors, knocking on your doors, telling you we're going to arrest you. So please, if you receive a call like this, just hang up. But Mr. Summers, what I want to do is I also want to show our audience here a quick little video, and I'm going to get this up on my screen, a quick little video on, scams and fraud, and how, how this is happening and what you need to do if something like this happens to you, because I really want to get this message out here. It's so important to let you know that this is something that's happening and you need to protect yourself.
Looking forward to that video.
So we're getting it up right now. What I'm going to do is...
And we don't have robot voices or recordings anyway. It's always a live person with Social Security. And you might not believe this, Josephine, but I'm being honest. I got another call today. Another recording for me. So it is epidemic. It's going on, and it hasn't slowed down. And during the pandemic, they're telling people we're giving coronavirus. Social Security hasn't made one call about coronavirus. And like you said, we don't go around arresting people. We're not law enforcement. We'd rather pay you than take you to jail.
Absolutely. And I got this video right now up. Can you see it, Mr. Summers?
I sure can. I'm ready.
Okay, now let's go. I'm going to go ahead and hit play.
New message.
Department of the Social Security Administration. The reason of this call is to inform you that your Social Security number has been suspended for suspicion of illegal activity. If you do not contact us immediately, your account will be deactivated. For more information about this case file, press 1 or call immediately our department number, 326.
This is a scam. Thieves are misusing the Social Security Administration's authority and phone schemes to trick you into giving them money or personal information. They state there is a problem with your Social Security number or account. They claim there's been suspicious or fraudulent activity, and you could be arrested or face other legal action. They even spoof SSA's main customer service telephone number on caller ID. Don't believe them. Don't provide any information. SSA employees will never threaten you for information or promise benefits in exchange for information. In those cases, the call is fraudulent. Just hang up. If you suspect you've been contacted by an SSA scammer, call the Social Security Fraud Hotline at 1-800-269-0271.
Social Security.
Solid advice. Very solid advice. Just hang up. Don't give them any information. You hear those recordings, and if we're going to talk to you, it's really going to be us, and it's going to be a live person. And there's no way that I would call you, ask you your name and Social Security number, because obviously I don't know who I'm calling. So think about it. If you're going to increase my benefits, you already should know who I am. You should be looking at my file or record or whatever. But this is a scam. So just always, if you are ever in doubt, Social Security won't get angry if you say I'm not comfortable. Hang up and then call your local office to verify. Call the number using that field office locator that will tell you who's in your neighborhood and what office to call. Because chances are, if you hear anything that sounds like what was on that commercial, it's a scam.
Absolutely. And, we will talk about the field office locator a little bit later in the show, and we'll show you how to access the field office locator on our website at ssa.gov. So that way, if you have questions or concerns, or you'd like to apply for benefits, or you've got an inquiry in regards to something like this, you can call us directly at your local field office. Because keep in mind, Social Security is still here with you. We are still available to assist you. We're open via phone calls and via online service. We may not be, we may not be experiencing that field office traffic like we used to, but we are still open. We're taking your questions, we're answering your questions, and we're taking applications. So please contact us via phone or online, because we're still working.
Absolutely. The phone is right here, Josie, and we will answer it. Now, I know I just asked you a question, but you know what? I know that retirement is your forte. So you're going to get a double scoop of ice cream. So instead of just answering that question you just answered so well about scams, you're going to get an opportunity to go 2 for 0 because you get a retirement question here.
Awesome. Let's talk about retirement.
Let me ask again my best impersonation of the public. Miss Mueller, how do I earn Social Security credits and how many do I need to qualify for benefits?
Well, you earn credits because you're working and you're paying into Social Security FICA taxes. So when we work and we're paying, if you look at your pay stub, you'll see a little section where it says FICA. And those are the taxes that we're paying. Essentially, we're paying into Social Security and Medicare. And as we're working, we're earning credits. And as long as we have 40 credits, we're able to draw from Social Security retirement benefits as early as age 62. So you need 40 credits in order to be eligible for Social Security retirement benefits. This year, the amount needed for one credit in 2020 to earn one credit is $1,410. Now, the maximum credits that you can earn in a year are 4. So if you earn in this year 2020, if you earn $5,640 for the year, then you'll earn those entire 4 credits that you're eligible to earn in the year. Keep in mind, some of us that are working may earn more than that $5,640, but we're essentially no longer earning any more credits because it's capped off at 4 credits per year. But as long as you're earning your 4 credits per year, essentially you can be eligible for, you can have those 40 credits within 10 years and be eligible for Social Security retirement benefits at age 62. Keep in mind, Social Security's monthly benefit amount is based off of the highest 35 years of your work earnings. So that's a great question, and we get that question a lot. We're going to move into. Thank you, and I hope I was able to answer the public's questions in regards to that. But we're going to keep moving on and talk a little bit more about retirement. So here we go. Here we've got another question that's asked quite frequently, and people ask us, well, every time I turn on my TV to get information about Social Security, it's the same thing. I keep hearing financial planners telling me to wait until I'm full retirement age or until age 70 to apply for my Social Security benefits. Why are they always saying this? Is this really a good idea? I don't know whether to wait or not. And this is something that, people are unsure of. They don't know, well, should I take my benefit early at age 62? Should I wait until 70? And that's such a personal question. That's a very specific question. And here at Social Security, we're not able to give you a direct answer for that because it's based off of so many things. You have to take a look at your personal health history, your family health history, and your financial situation. So it may be a good idea for me to draw benefits early at age 62, but maybe that's not a good idea for Mr. Daniel Summers to draw benefits early at age 62. Maybe Mr. Daniel Summers is like, you know what? I feel great at 62. I'm still working. I have all this energy. And, he's like, my financial situation is good. My family health history is great. So I'm going to wait until 70. And if that's, Mr. Daniel Summers' situation and he can do that, then that would be the best thing for him. But no one can give you that direct answer and tell you this is when you need to do it. This is such a personal decision, and you have to look at your personal situation because it's different for everyone. So, Mr. Daniel Summers, since you're waiting until age 70, what does that mean for you?
That means that you've made a very excellent point. And, I've had people come into the office when I was a social insurance specialist, a claims rep, taking those retirement claims. And that question is so much the same. But I like to explain it to people like this. There are some people who that money at 62 is a fine amount. It fits with their finances. They don't like their job, or maybe their boss, or maybe their back hurts, or maybe they want to go out and travel. And they're like, I got enough. The mortgage is paid off, or I can live off of this amount at 62 or 63 or 64 or early or what have you. And that's fine for them. And you have other people who said, I need X amount of dollars to be comfortable. So I'm going to wait until the time when that grows. And maybe for me, that's my full retirement age, maybe 66 or 67. Or you have other people who are like, hey, I got tons of investments. I got a great job and I love it. I want to keep working. I'll wait until 70 because I want extra money on top of extra money. And none of those choices is wrong. I have people who've walked in and told me, well, I'm 62 now, and neither one of my parents lived to 63, you know, and they have a poor family health history. Others have told me they lived into their 90s or a ripe old age into the hundreds. So a lot of factors go. Some people want to play with their grandchildren, but there's a reason why, and I got friends who are financial planners, and I'm not going to insult them, but there's a reason why that's answered that way. Financial planners try to help you, but they do it by thinking in a very linear way. This is more money at 70 than you get at 66, and more than you get at 62. So always take more. But just the amount of money you get isn't the only thing that matters to everyone. So take your personal circumstances, how much you love your job, how much you want to play with your grandchildren, how your health and longevity are, what your financial picture is, and what you can afford, and go from there. There's no blanket advice that works. Thank you, Josephine. That was a great answer.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. And I think we helped clarify a lot of those questions that our public has in regards to, that linear thinking where it's like, okay, well, 70, I'm going to get the maximum benefit. I'm going to go for that because it's just the maximum benefit. But like you mentioned, there's so many things that are involved with that decision. It's not all about, getting the highest amount. It's also about, am I am I ready to take my benefit now at 62 because I want to play with my grandchildren. I want to spend more time with my family.
sure, a millionaire doesn't necessarily need those delayed retirement credits as much as a typical working guy or girl.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk a little bit more about those delayed retirement credits. And this is a question that we hear a lot of. People say, I'm so confused. What exactly are delayed retirement credits? I keep hearing about them, but I don't know what they are. Um,
Can
can you
you eat
provide us
them,
a little bit
Josephine?
more? No, we
Are they
definitely
some
can't
kind of
eat them.
food?
But
No?
you can buy some extra, sandwiches with those delayed retirement credits because what this means is that your benefit is increasing every month and even on a monthly, well, it's increasing every month and essentially every year past your full retirement age. So once you are full retirement age and say you decide to delay not to take your benefit, so that means that you're not taking your benefit at all. At full retirement age, you choose to wait and not take your benefit. So essentially, you're delaying it, and every month, every year, that benefit is growing. So once you turn, full retirement age and you wait, your benefit is growing and is starting to earn those delayed retirement credits. Now, keep in mind, we talked about it in the previous slide, age 70 is the max that you can delay your benefit. So you don't want to wait past that because then essentially you're losing money. Age 70 is the maximum age that you can delay your Social Security retirement benefit. So keep that in mind. Do you have anything to
Absolutely.
add to that, Mr. Summers?
Sure. Like for those people who might listen to those financial planners, there are people who think like and they are investors. But let's think about what your return is. You've reached full retirement age and you're still not ready to take your benefits. Well, there is a return on waiting and delaying it. And that is 8% per year for every 12-month period that you wait beyond your full retirement age. There's a little bit of a cash incentive there because you get an 8% higher benefit. Now, lots of people say hey, 8% is not bad. I'll wait. But once again, you weigh whether or not that's the most important thing for you. But that's what a delayed retirement credit is. It is a mechanism and a means by which you increase your payments over and above your full retirement age benefits that you've earned through your work. Great question, Josie. And I just love this. So let's keep moving.
Absolutely. So here's another question that we frequently are asked. I'm 45 years old, or any age at this point. You know, I'm 45 years old, and I have been paying into Social Security since I was 15. I heard that Social Security is running out of money, and there won't be any left by the time I retire. Can you help us understand this, Mr. Summers?
I sure can. You know, Josephine, are lots and lots of people who talk about Social Security because, let's face it, we're the most interesting government program that ever existed, and it's paid for by the workers. So when we make a My Social Security account, it really is your Social Security, and it's your Social Security account. And because of your payments of FICA taxes, it exists. Now, you have people who have a lot of purposes and reasons. Sometimes you get political people who say, I'm the Superman of Social Security and I'm going to save it, and that other guy that's running against me is going to destroy it. We don't get partisan here at Social Security because we are non biased. But here is the truth. And you often hear things echoing and repeating. And I hear people, and they ask me this all the time. It's not going to be there for me. Rest assured, everyone, as it stands, there are not millions or billions in the trust funds that pay Social Security benefits, but there are trillions. However, we are looking at being able to pay Social Security benefits right now, all the way up till 2034, 100% of everyone's benefits, just like we always have, starting in 1935. For 85 years, we have never missed the mark. Now, what happens at that point? Well, if there are no legislative changes to the way Social Security payments are taxed and dispersed by Congress or by law, then at that point in 2034, we'll be able to pay only 79% of everyone's benefit. But that's not to say that that change won't happen very soon, so that we may. At this time, there's no change. But there have been other times and years, particularly in the 1980s, where Social Security did pay out more money than it took in. Now, that running out of money thing is often coupled with this rumor that I hear that those dag blasted scoundrels borrowed the money and they haven't paid it back. Well, I want to alleviate the fears of the public because, yeah, Social Security money is sometimes borrowed, but guess what? It's paid back, but not dollar for dollar, with interest. So it's actually a thing that benefits Social Security when the money is borrowed because it's more is paid back, which swells the coffers, which means there's more money to be paid to you who worked so hard and contributed to Social Security through your FICA taxes. Josephine, would you like to add anything?
Oh, I think you gave us a really great explanation on that. Social Security is with you throughout life's journey, and we will continue to be with you throughout life's journey. And we're going to move on to spousal benefits now.
Now, I know
So
this
we
is
get,
the stuff you're good at, Josephine. So I've got to get
yeah,
to this first question. All right. So, once again, my impersonation of the public. I was a homemaker for most of my 10-year marriage. We are now divorced. Do I have to wait for my ex husband to file for benefits before I can file them on his record? Very critical question. And I've literally heard this one answered wrong by people. So we come to you, Josephine Mueller, Public Affairs Specialist, the guru of spousal benefits, for the answer.
well, let's take a stab at this. So, a homemaker for most of my 10-year marriage. We are now divorced. So, essentially, what this sounds like to me is this individual is an independently divorced spouse. And what that means is that this individual does not necessarily, her spouse doesn't necessarily have to be drawing benefits for, you know, her to receive benefits. She's talking about her ex-husband here. He may not be taking the benefits at this time, but if she is 62, she's still able to draw benefits off of his record as long as she can prove that she was married 10 years or more, and as long as, her benefit, if she is eligible for benefits, as long as her benefit is less than 50% of his benefit. So he doesn't have to be drawing, but he does have to be 62 in order for her to draw from his record. And he has to have sufficient amount of work earnings on his record. So we're going to get a little bit more into benefits, and I'm going to give you a little bit more examples, but we're going to move on to the next question to give you those examples. But essentially, overall, the answer to this is that, you know, she doesn't have to wait for him to draw benefits, to draw those benefits off of his record. As long as she's 62, as long as he's 62, he can start drawing right away.
And you know, Josephine, even though the rules are different for people who are currently married and divorced, it's a good thing that she doesn't have to file. Imagine the mess we would have if an ex-husband or wife could control whether or not you could get benefits you're entitled to. Social Security is not in the business of creating family feuds. So the rules and provisions under Social Security are designed to be fair for everyone and to protect your rights. As a person who was married for 10 years, you are entitled to benefits.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I liked the way that you answered that so well that I'm going to give you this one as a bonus question. Because me, I could see myself writing something like this and asking it if I didn't know. So here we go. Your thinking cap is on. Josephine Mueller, I am currently married. My wife makes a lot more money than I do. Lucky. Can I get benefits from her record? My friends tell me that the wife can get benefits from the husband, but the husband can't get benefits from the wife. They told me that it doesn't work the other way around. They laughed at me when I told them that I wanted to get payments off of my wife and said that it couldn't be done. I don't see anything on the Social Security website that says it can't work this way. So I think it can. Who's wrong?
So this is a great question because it doesn't, we're not looking at whether you're the husband or wife. What we are looking at is we're looking at your record. Who has, you know, a higher record? So it could be the wife that is the higher earner, or it may be the husband that's the higher earner. So what we do is we look at the numbers on the record, and we're definitely not looking at whether you are the husband or the wife. We're looking at what the earnings were. So essentially what we do is we look at the earnings, and if your benefit is less than half of your spouse's benefit, then you will be eligible for a portion of your spouse's benefit, or perhaps the entire half, depending on what your spouse's, you know, your record has on there. So I'm going to give you an example because I like to give examples with this, and I'm going to use myself as an example. And in this example, there's 3 different scenarios. So say, for example, I decide to take my benefit at full retirement age. And let's say my full retirement age is 66. Let's also say that my husband's full retirement age is 66 and he's deciding to draw benefits. Now, let's say I am eligible for $2,000 off of my record. Okay, I'm eligible for $2,000 based off of my work earnings. And let's say my husband is eligible for, let's say he's not eligible for anything off of his own record, because let's say he was the homemaker in this situation. Let's say I was the one who was working outside of the house and he was working inside of the house. So he's the homemaker in the situation, and he's also full retirement age. Well, I go to draw benefits with Social Security. I'm eligible for $2,000. He's essentially, you know, he's my spouse, and, you know, they ask me the questions when I'm doing my application, and they ask me if I'm married. I give them my husband's information, and then they call my husband, and because now they want to see if my husband wants to draw benefits. So my husband, they look at his record and they're like, okay, Mr. Mueller, well, you're not eligible for benefits off of your own record, but you're eligible for benefits off of your spouse's record because you're currently married. So he'd be eligible for half of my benefit because he's full retirement age and he's drawing at full retirement age. And so remember, we said I get $2,000 per month. So that means he'd be eligible for $1,000 per month off of my record as a spouse. Now, he would be drawing that $1,000 a month off of, my record, but that doesn't mean that my $2,000 a month that I receive is going to be decreased. Sometimes people think, oh, well, my spouse is drawing off of my record. Now my benefit is going to be less. And that's not true. Your benefit will remain the same. So I'll continue to receive my $2,000 per month, and my spouse, he will receive $1,000 a month based off of spouse's benefit. Okay, that's the first scenario. Second scenario. Now, let's say my benefit is still $2,000 a month. And let's say my spouse, he's the homemaker, but he works part-time. So off of his record, he's eligible for $500 a month. So he's eligible for $500 a month off of his record because he did work some. Not a lot, but he worked some. So half of my benefit is $1,000 and he receives $500. He's going to be bumped up another $500 to be at that $1,000, that half that I receive. So he'll get $500 off of his own record and $500 based off of a spouse's record, based off of my record. So then he'll get $1,000 a month, and I'll keep my $2,000. Keep in mind, my benefit isn't going to change because he's drawing benefits off of my record. Now let's switch it up here. Let's say that my spouse was the high earner now. And let's keep me at $2,000 a month. But let's say my spouse, he worked and he earned high earnings as well, but higher than I did. So his benefit every month is $3,000 and my benefit is $2,000. Well, half of his benefit, $3,000, half of $3,000 is $1,500. And I already get $2,000. So my benefit's higher than half of his. So in this case, I wouldn't receive any spousal benefits. He wouldn't receive any spousal benefits. We're not going to receive benefits off of each other's records, but we're going to receive our own benefits off of our own records. So that's the third case scenario. So I hope that this brought some clarification to the spousal benefits questions that many of us have and our audience has out there. Do you have anything to add to that, Mr. Summers?
Only that was a great explanation, and it was a great question. So they laughed at you, but you get the last laugh. In fact, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Great question, and onward. Aha. Now, I think this reminds me of a prior question. So let's talk about this. Homemaker, I was a homemaker for most of my 11-year marriage. We are now divorced. Do I have to wait for my ex-husband to file for benefits before I can file them on his record? Again, you're served.
Yes, and this is very similar to our first question. And, I'm just going to reiterate what, I mentioned earlier as far as, no, you don't have to wait for your ex-spouse to file for benefits before you can file for benefits off of his record. But you do have to be at least 62, and he has to be 62 in order for you to draw benefits off of his record. And you do have to prove that you were married 10 years or more. And what you would be filing for is considered independently divorced spouse's benefits. But you do not have to wait for your ex-spouse to draw.
All right.
This is another good one.
Ah.
So I'll go ahead and read this one off, and I'll pass the volleyball back over to you, Mr. Summers.
For sure, I'm waiting. Go ahead and serve.
I'm mad at my wife. We have been married for 12 years. She didn't work during our marriage at all. We are in the middle of a very acrimonious divorce, but I've got a good lawyer, and now she can't get part of my pension from work. How can I stop her from getting Social Security benefits from me, and when it's time to retire a few years from now? So how can I stop her from getting Social Security retirement benefits from me?
He's mad at his wife. He's the madman, Josephine. And he's got a very good lawyer. Dangerous combination in most instances, right? And it looks like he's put the fix in on the pension from work. But the second part of this, where he asks the very candid question, the fiendish part of this question is, how can I stop her from getting Social Security benefits from me now when it's time to retire a few years from now? Oh, that one's easy to answer. You can't. I know you have a talented lawyer, but let's talk about Social Security and its intention. She clearly met the 10-year marriage requirement plus 2 here, right? So they were married 10 years. If we are assuming that she would draw a benefit from him, there are protections for spouses. And the fact remains is under the Social Security Act of 1935, she would be entitled to that benefit. Now, often I've seen people come in to try to do this, Josephine, and they say, well, I don't want her to get benefits from me, or I don't want him to get benefits from me. And I've even seen court orders written up where the judge said, and she cannot get part of his Social Security benefits. And this state judge who's performing a divorce signs it because state judges are kind of important, right? But guess what? The United States federal government says, and if we're talking about which one, supersedes the other, that she's entitled to that benefit. I could write anything I want on a piece of paper. It doesn't make it so. So if she meets the what we call the factors of entitlement, she's the right age. She will be a few years from now. The income lines up, and she's done her 10 years with this madman. Guess what? She's entitled to that benefits no matter how many terrible things are said and done between them. So you can't. She's entitled to that benefit. And calm down a bit. The marriage is over.
Yeah, and just as it happens, as I'm mad at my wife, the scenario could be I'm mad at my husband, and it could go either way. But ultimately, it's a benefit that you know people are entitled to. So, as good of an attorney as you may have, you cannot stop another individual from receiving the benefits that they're entitled to. So, that
And
is a
it doesn't
very,
make
very
you
good
get less
answer.
anyway. So it doesn't hurt your
Exactly.
benefit. So there's no harm to you.
Absolutely,
Great
absolutely.
question, and
Because
one I've fielded.
yes, yes. So now we're going to move on to some survivor benefit questions. And
Wow. This will probably be our last question then.
yeah, it looks like we're already almost out of time. So yeah, this can be our last question, and then we do want to talk a little bit about how to contact our field offices. So we'll get some of that information in here though before we end the show.
So why don't I
So
read this one to you if you like, because I know you love survivor
sure,
benefits. All right.
absolutely.
My husband was receiving retirement benefits of $2,500 per month. As his wife, I was getting half of that, $1,250. Unfortunately, he passed away last month. I don't know how I'm going to manage on $1,250 a month now. What will happen to the benefits I was getting from him? Do they stop because he passed away? Josephine, can
This
you
is
help this grieving widow?
absolutely. And this is a question that we do get asked quite frequently, whether it's by phone or, when people come into the office. And the answer to this question is that when an individual's spouse passes away, um, the spouse's benefit, the spouse who passed away, their benefit stops. However, if you are receiving, say in this situation, we've got $1,250 or $1,250 that the surviving spouse is receiving, and their spouse that passed away was receiving 2,500. What we would do in this situation is bump up the surviving spouse to the $2,500 a month. So the surviving spouse would now receive an increase, would receive the $2,500 a month. And there's also another benefit that's involved. It's called the one-time lump sum death payment benefit. And that's a one-time payment of $255 that's payable to the surviving spouse, or any surviving children if there are surviving children as well. But there's that one-time lump sum payment of $255. So that is a great question, and the benefit does
Really?
increase.
And you got to remember that when a person is alive, you are receiving the benefit as a spouse. When they pass away, you are a widow or widower, and the benefits are more generous because we understand that when you lose your spouse, you often not only lose that person, you lose a sizable portion of your income. And Social Security does what it can to help compensate for that. We can't cure all things, nor can we bring back your loved one. But again, our mission has always been to ensure the economic security of Americans, and as they retire or if someone becomes disabled, prevent them from living in poverty as best we can under our guidelines. I think the questions were phenomenal today, Josephine. Fantastic. And we got into some great subjects. But you got another subject now.
Yes, absolutely. So what I want to share next is our website. I want everyone to see our web page and what our web page looks like. So I have placed that on the screen. Are you able to see that, Mr. Summers?
I sure can.
Great. So on our website, as you can see, it's very user friendly. There's different boxes that you click on that give you different types of information. And you all you have to do is type in your search engine ssa.gov, and or socialsecurity.gov. So when you do this, always make sure that you have that .gov behind the Social Security name, because there are other individuals that may have .com, something else, and know that that's not us. We are .gov, and socialsecurity.gov is a secure website. So please visit us at our website to get more information in regards to the different things that we talked about today. And I also want to show you how to get to our field office locator, because as we mentioned earlier, we are open, we are here for you, we're still answering your questions, we're still taking applications. And in order to do that, you would go to our website and locate the field office locator. But I want to take you into our COVID-19 updates page, because that's where you're going to be able to access this field office locator as well. But in the process, I want to show you the coronavirus COVID-19 updates page. So as you can see, you click on this mustard colored tab at the very top. And when I click on it, it's going to come up with updates, all kinds of updates in regards to our field offices, anything that's new that's happening right now. And this is so critical, and this is such a good one-stop shop for things that are happening right now. If you'd like to subscribe to this page, please click on the button up here where it says subscribe, enter in your email or your phone number, and we can send you updates immediately. But if you look here where it says getting help from Social Security, click on that, and it's going to go ahead and take you to the section getting help from Social Security. So right here, we've got, am I eligible for an in-person appointment? So there's different questions here. And if you see here, it says office locator, you can click here. Okay, so now we're in a different spot, different page, and it's an office locator. It says Social Security office locator. There's an area where you can enter your zip code. So you can enter any zip code, and if say you're in area 604, I don't know, 60434, we'll go with that. And then I click on locate. Okay, so here we go. We've got a Social Security office that comes up. We can see their address. We can see their direct phone number. We also can see their fax number. So this is the national Social Security office locator. So you can use this anywhere. So wherever you're at, you put in your zip code, and it's going to locate your field office. I know, Mr. Summers, you're in Indiana. I'm in Illinois. So Mr. Summers and I are in different states, actually. We're coming to you from different states, and, we are in different locations, but we come together on this CNCV Zoom meeting to talk to everybody and give everybody information. Can you provide me with an Indiana zip code so I can show our audience how they can see different areas?
I sure can, and that's a great idea. How about this? 46342.
Okay, got it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit locate. And there we go. Now we've got the Maryville, Indiana office. And as you can see, this is in Indiana. We're no longer in Illinois here, but this works for every zip code in every area around the entire nation. So you're going to find.
Can you try one more for me?
Sure,
I like
absolutely.
This. How about 46385?
Okay, here we go. 46385, locate. Now we're in Valparaiso, Indiana. So, you can be anywhere. And if you want to find out your local field office information and get in contact with a local representative, you can do it, and you can do it easily. Just contact the phone number that comes up. You also will have the address, so if you need to mail documents in, you can mail it to that office, or you can fax information over that office because you're also provided with a fax number. So please feel free to visit us at socialsecurity.gov, check out our information, check out the Social Security office locator, write that information down to your local field office because you'll never know when you're going to need it. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can always give us a call.
That's great. Josephine, this has been a great show. I think that we've answered a lot of questions that come up so frequently from so many people, and hopefully this helped you too out there. So if you have any questions, make sure that the Social Security Administration knows about them. We'll be happy to give you the answers right from the source.
Thank you for staying with us here today and sharing your morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you are with us here. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you again next week on CAN TV. Have a great one, everyone.